Good day, fellow Jersey Nerds, and welcome to episode 90 of the Jersey Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. Today on the Nerdcast, I'm going to be joined by Steve and Beepo, and we're going to be going over the 2020 NHL All-Star logo. That event will be held in St. Louis, which definitely pertains to the logo. And also, we're going to be looking at the LA Kings surprising us with their throwback jerseys that they'll be wearing beginning in February 2020. Plus, we have fake or authentic and throwback throwdown. And as I mentioned, Steve and Beepo are here. Steve, what's going on?
Not much, just making a podcast, Ryan.
Fantastic. Anything, it's been a bit since you've been on. Anything new going on in your life?
Not particularly. Still working at the job and still having a good time.
Can't complain about that. Consistency across the board. Beepo, you're in a new location due to school. What's going on?
Just making a podcast, Ryan. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me get the line right. Just recording a podcast, Ryan. How about you?
Got to make sure you get it right, Beepo.
Yes, Steve. If you're going to steal my line,
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, that was a shade of Steve from the beginning. If you're going to steal my line, at least get it right.
Oh, I apologize.
You better.
How are the new digs, Beepo? You're out at school now. How's everything going?
It's been very fun. I've been avoiding work most of the week. Actually, that's not true because I had some design work to do, so I did that. I'm not sure I've done much else other than that, work-wise. But I have 10 jerseys hanging on my wall around me. 9 hockey, 1 basketball. So, that's pretty cool.
It's quite the accomplishment.
You don't let people in your apartment at random, do you?
Huh?
Yeah, I'm just saying, is your room, you're the only one that's able to access it? Because the jerseys you have hanging up there, man, like...
As long as I don't invite other people into the room, yes.
Yeah, that's why you don't bring a girl into there.
Trust me, I trust the people that I bring into my room.
Good.
Also, I don't think either of them or any of them have interest in hockey jerseys anyways, at least not the way that I do.
So when did your school start? You're in college, obviously, Beepo. When did your school start? I'm always interested in hearing all these different start times for schools.
My move-in day was Saturday the 24th of August, and then classes started that following Monday the 26th. And then today we had off because Labor Day.
Like full-on real classes, week 1?
Yes.
Started out.
Well, wait, what do you mean by full-on? Like, that was week 1, but, I mean, at least the first classes, basically all of them were, here's the syllabus, let's talk about it, goodbye.
I was going to say.
Right.
That's like the first
it's
week
all
is
intro
a cake
classes?
week.
Like, those were, I think my first classes on my first day were like that. The second day, we talked about the syllabus. Wait, I'm trying to think. No, my first class, we got out, like, at 10. We're supposed to get out at 12. And then my second class, the professor was hired literally the Friday before. So he didn't really know what he was doing. So I think he didn't realize he was able to let us out early. So he kept us the whole time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How long are your classes on average?
It wouldn't have been too bad, but I already knew everything that he said because it's a photography class, and I'd had a photography class last semester. So that part of it was all review for me.
Wait, did they do it to where you have to do black and white photos the first class and now you're in color?
I don't think I had to have gone in that order. No, because some of my classmates are like taking this and they hadn't done black and white yet, but I did black and white first, and then this one's just general photography with like a DSLR.
What kind of DSLR do you use?
Cool stuff. That'd be a good class to take.
It's a Canon Rebel T6.
Dude, what you should do is you should get the super zoom on there, get the lens with the super zoom, start taking some pictures. Like just
I don't know if the one that I have is super zoom, but I do have 2 lenses, and one of them zooms pretty good. I was able to take some pretty close-up shots of my brother's graduation of him from the stands. And I think
so. Do you have to
back in the stands? So it zooms pretty good.
Do you have to own a camera, or do they lease one out for you for the class?
Yeah, there are some that you can, borrow, but I've owned this one for a couple of years, so it's going to work fine.
And they require that you have certain model types, like you can't just walk in there with anything?
It has to be a DSLR, but other than that, I don't really think it matters.
Interesting. Funny thing about the Rebels, like my wife used to be...
point and shoot,
Yeah, exactly. The Canon Rebels have kind of... Like, Canon knew what they were doing when they started coming out with the Rebels, but they were kind of looked down upon by, like, I'm going to say this with air quotes, real photographers. Kind of looked at, like, a cheater entry-level camera. And it's just kind of interesting to see where they've come with that, because I would have to think Canon with the Rebel cameras has a huge market share.
I mean, I think it's definitely entry level, but it works for entry level, I don't know that much about photography. Give me a more advanced camera, I might not know what the hell I'm doing. With this, I mean,
all the features.
I still don't entirely know what the hell I'm doing, but I can at least manage it.
Well, good thing you're taking a class then,
Ryan, what you soon learn as an art student, and I'm pretty sure Beepo can attest, is that every class they give you your syllabus and then they give you a list of supplies. And that list has a long list of supplies that you have to buy, and then they have the list of what the school supplies to you. And that essentially equates to a notebook for sketching. And I'd assume if you're lucky, if it's like a drawing class, you get some chalk or you get some charcoal or like cheap pastels.
And it also could depend on the professor and what they want to buy for you, Because I think in one of my drawing classes, the professor, I think, provided us with, like, some extra paper.
Like Bristol board?
Like powdered charcoal, something like that. But other than that, it was like, buy everything else.
If I can give you a piece of advice for when I was in school, save all your receipts for tax time. You could write all that off. So... just letting you know that, Beepo.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've had to purchase supplies because I haven't had an actual, like, fine arts class in a couple semesters, but I'm hoping to take a painting class coming up sometime soon.
Will you end up
or
like
at least
Bob
by the time
Ross,
I graduate.
Start painting like Knuckles and Island and Paul Stachny?
I have no idea. All I know is that I love the professor who's teaching it, and I want to take it with that professor, not somebody else. Because I had him for drawing twice, and I like him. So.
Well, I just going back to, I asked you when you started school, and I just find it interesting because through my whole life, just in my area, school has always started the Tuesday after Labor Day. Everything, college, high school, elementary school, go all the way up. It started the Tuesday after Labor Day. And that's the same thing for my kids going through school now. And so this week, we're recording this on a Monday night. So my son's and daughter's first day of school is actually tomorrow. And his birthday is also tomorrow. So kind of sucks that he has first day of school on his birthday. And I don't think in the whole time that I ever went to school did I ever meet anybody whose birthday was on the first day of school.
Well, you see, Ryan, there was a time in the American education system where we all started after Labor Day. And then about when I was in, we're talking 20 years ago now, they decided, let's start them about a week or two before Labor Day. And now today you hear about how schools are struggling to stay open 5 days a week because they extended everything so long. But with colleges, I've noticed in America, I've seen some start as early as August 18th, and I've seen that some start this week. So,
yeah, my brother, he's going to community college this year, and he started during like midweek before my move-in week. I think that was whenever I was in New Jersey. So
he'll be done like what 2-3 weeks before you though. That's how it'll work out.
I have no idea. Although I mean, he only started less than a week before me, but still.
Probably. Well, he's either going to have more.
Where that Steve said, like 18th, 20th, something
all,
like that.
All that matters is all that matters is they have that 16-week period, and then they got finals, and then you're off for however long the school allows you. But please move on, Ryan.
I'm sure everybody's waiting for us to get into the All-Star Game logo and the Kings throwback jersey.
Wait,
so let's do that now.
No, if it was a school
podcast,
this would be sponsored by NPR. And we'd all have to talk in a really soothing voice like this.
Under Mifflin.
Yeah, and we'd have to be all serious.
Seriously.
And throw credits at the end.
Could you imagine trying to read off one of those advertisements and just that voice? It'd put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Don't forget to include your works cited page at the end and say all of your words in Times New Roman 12 point with 1 inch margin, double spaced.
Good stuff. All right, let's get to the logo. So the 2020 NHL All-Star logo, it's in St. Louis, the end of January of 2020. I was really worried here that we're kind of gonna get a rehash of the Winter Classic logo when that was in St. Louis. I think it's commonly agreed that the arch should be in these logos, that it says St. Louis, right? That's why they built it. It's, you need a staple of your city. So the arch should be in the logo, and it's in the logo, but it definitely doesn't look like a rehash of the Winter Classic logo. So we have a double-ended trumpet at the top, which frames up the year and the league logo. We then have the word mark All-Star, which is just fantastic. There's so much to get into there. And then we have a gold bar, which says St. Louis. In some form, you'll get the Honda sponsorship, which, judging by feedback on Twitter, people really have a problem with. But this is the modern day that we live in, and it's been this way for a long, long time. For these events to make lots of money and to be put on the way they are, they're going to need sponsorships. And those sponsors don't just give money just for the sake of it. They'll want their name on there. So this is kind of just part of the deal, and it's been that way for a long time. And then at the bottom of the logo, it's all encompassed in a shield shape. But at the bottom of the logo, we do get the archway, and it's going over top of a gold star. So definitely a unique logo here. Let's look at we're not going to get into the negatives and positives off the top, but we're going to get into your initial response, your initial thoughts as soon as you saw it, Steve.
My first thought on it was that it's much simpler than the ones in the past, but that's not a bad thing. This pulls off the simple color blocking very well, and I think when they got down to it, they were kind of just like, let's just do something simple, but makes a statement and it works and it gets it across. Let's not try and go over the top like we did last year with the app logo. So overall, I think this is a great logo. It has a lot of subtleties into it that I think really work well, especially with a team called the Blues. So overall, this just nails it perfectly.
And Beepo, what were your initial thoughts when you pulled this up and saw it?
Well, the first time I saw the logo, I really liked it, and it was really solid. And then people just kept pointing out more and more little details in the logo, and at that point, I think I just kind of needed a change of pants. This logo is incredible, honestly, and it fits in really well with the city. It fits in really well with the Blues branding. It fits in really well with the All-Star branding and all of the secondary logos that they have for it, like the word marks on their own and whatever they might be. They just all fit into the brand perfectly. It works out so well, and it makes me very happy.
I couldn't agree more. My initial thoughts on this were, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, that's new. It felt new when I first saw it. And you view it more and more and you realize this is such I want to call it a layered logo, and that's mentally, not actually a layered logo. It might be. I can't be talk technical about it, but in my mind, the logo has so many layers, and every time I'm looking at it, I'm appreciating it more and more, and I don't have anything negative to say about it. I really thought that All-Star script, before I even noticed the piano keys, was really new and unique, and I thought that was exciting. And then, of course, you get to the piano keys and you go on more and more and more, and the logo just keeps getting better. So I don't have any negatives. I really can't find any negatives here at all whatsoever. So I have 0 negatives for this logo. I don't know if you have any, Steve.
I'd have to say one negative that I have about this is that they decided to use the gradient NHL shield on this instead of the 2-color, the black and silver shield that they would normally use, say, like on the ice for it. I truly think that's the only type of negative that I have, because that just doesn't feel that it fits with the design overall of the logo itself, which instead of that using gradients like the Winter Classic logo, this one actually uses shades and tints of the colors to make it. So other than that, I think this is a home run.
Just you mentioning that, Steve, that leads me to speculate whether or not this logo will be done in the same style that the Dallas Stars did their 25th anniversary patch with, that kind of 3D perforated style, I guess you could say. The same.
The PVC logos.
Yes, something. Yes, similar to how Adidas does the NHL logo on the collar.
Ooh,
yeah.
I wonder if they will. That would look pretty cool.
Because that would be really cool. That seems to be the way things are trending. Plus, with all the navy blue in the logo, you could add different layers by doing that in that style. So, because you pointed that out, and we've seen logos before that just use the 2-color NHL shield, and they are using the gradient one here. So maybe that's on purpose to demonstrate how the logo will look when they actually produce the patch.
I'd be interested to see
Beepo,
that.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what goes on there. Beepo, any negatives with this logo?
This isn't a negative, but I never noticed that some of these other logos used the flat one instead of the gradient one until Steve just points that out now.
So it's something different. Like they might have done it previously, but not in recent memory.
It looks like on the 2016 Nashville one, that one's a gradient, but like 2017, 8 and 2018 All-Star games, or I guess the 18 and 19 All-Star games, I should say, I have the flat one. So interesting. But yeah, about the negatives, there's not really too many, if really any at all. The only one I can really think of is that on that shadow on the bottom of the letters looks a little bit awkward on the A and the S, but I can't even knock them for doing it the way that they did, because if you get rid of it, you kind of lose the piano keys a little bit. Like, the general shape is still there, but you don't have that 3-dimensional look that really makes it stand out as piano keys. So I really can't knock them for that, honestly. So even though it looks a little bit awkward, I think it's, worth what you gain by doing it, if that makes any sense. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't really know if there are that many negatives. Maybe the All-Star script could be a tiny bit bigger, but even then, that might stick out too far from the logo. I mean, anything that I say here is mainly just nitpicking, honestly.
Which is a good sign for this logo. So let's do what we're all starving to do and get to the positives here. I'm sure we all have a lot of the same positives, so I'll just start off with a couple, and maybe we'll just try and give off a couple, and eventually collectively as a group here, we'll all go through all the positives. So I'll go through the obvious one, and it took me 2 or 3 looks to identify this, but it's the piano keys using the A and the 2 L's in All-Star. That is just fantastic look there. And the script itself, the S kind of has like a treble clef look to it, but also I didn't notice that on first look. I was more thinking, wow, that font really fits that kind of original blues wordmark font. So I really thought this was cool. And the trumpets remind me of the 90s shoulder patch. So I also enjoyed that. Those are some of my highlighted positives. Steve, what do you got?
I honestly am just amazed by the use of color. Honestly, as someone who likes to study how they use color with prominence and where they go with the primary, the secondary, and the what's the term for the third? There we go. Thank you. Tertiary. And I really think they did an excellent job of it, but it just comes back to the fact that it's a flat image. They haven't tried to do much in making the 2D look 3D other than what they want to stick out, which is the All-Star wording there. Now, I noticed they just have just All-Star on there. So, and I gotta say, I really do like the fact that they got rid of the word game there, because it frees everything up, and this just looks so clean and so crisp, and overall, it just helps everything flow together instead of them trying to throw it into a square like they did last year.
Good stuff there. Beepo, your positives, finish it up here for us.
Again, not a positive to start off with, but whenever you look at a word so many times, it doesn't look like it's a word anymore. I'm looking at all of the All-Star logos here, and All-Star does not look like a phrase that exists anymore. But anyways, yeah, I have to agree with all the positives that were mentioned already, and I really do like the use of color, and like I said in my little initial thoughts thing, I think it ties in really well with the city of St. Louis, with the arch and the music stuff. With the brand of the Blues, again, with the music stuff, they use the same color scheme of like blue and gold, and I really like that they added the second blue in there, so they had double blue. The trumpets work out really well, but I get one of my favorite things with this is how well the secondaries tie in, and almost all of them have like that trumpet thing as like a border, and they all tie in so perfectly to the primary logo, and they all have their own uses, whether they're sponsored or unsponsored or, wherever you'd want to stick them on a graphic or whatnot. They all have their uses, and it just ties in together so perfectly. I love that so much about it.
Yeah, everything really comes together here in the logo. And it'll be interesting to see how they apply it, especially on the ice too. Even at center ice, you usually get the Steve pointed out the gradient logo, which is really interesting now. Usually on the ice, I find you get the two-tone logo, so it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. And now after we finish recording here, I'm going to have to go back and check out pictures of the 2016 game in Nashville and see if they applied the gradient logo, NHL logo on the ice for that one. So
they're going to have a new innovation where they have the ice 3D raised with the logo.
Yes. Or like when they do those projections pregame, they're just going to play the entire tournament on a projected ice surface.
Okay, hold up.
The game doesn't actually exist. It's all just being projected onto the ice.
Basketball court they have in Beijing, and if they
or somehow they're going to have technology, so it puts a star around each player on your TV screen, like it's NHL 94 again.
I'm pretty darn sure
they're going to have the players playing NHL 20 and just have that projected onto the ice.
Would hate it, but they would bring in so many new people. Well, look at the technology that they used in the
They can
AAF,
do it. There's trackers in.
They were doing.
I believe it's in every player's pants.
Betting.
There's trackers,
and
that tells us how fast they're going. Teams use it for heart rate monitors, things like that.
Imagine
Sweat.
if only they not only had that for the NHL, but they had that for. They used like projections on the ice that would show like I'm and I know we're getting off topic here, but like, imagine if the icing line would blink or something to indicate to the players that someone's offsides, or say if they used like VAR or something for a goal, and the goal could change, like the goal crease could change a color to automatically signify that it has changed a goal. This is a topic for another podcast, but I mean.
Yeah. They haven't even scratched the surface of everything they can do with their tracking and presentation wise. So we're getting to get there, but let's get to our ratings now for this logo.
I'm gonna have to go with a 9.
I have to rate
Solid
this
9. There's
incredibly high. I'm still not ready to give something a perfect rating, but this is going to be the highest rating I've ever given. I'm giving this logo a 9.75 out of 10. Where do you stand, Steve?
And it just seems that the Blues come up with some fairly great logos for all events that they hold.
And Beepo, your rating?
I'm going to have to give this one a 9.5, pretty much right where you guys are.
Okay, perfect. So 9.5 from Beepo, 9 from Steve, a 9.75 from me, and that gives this logo an average rating of 9.4. This is a fantastic logo, and after several looks and analyzing this logo, I'm confident and ready to say that this is the best All-Star logo of all time in the NHL. So great offering here from the NHL. I believe it was NHL Creative Services that came up with it, probably in conjunction with St. Louis. It's just a fantastic logo, and can't wait to see how it's applied to the jerseys and what the jerseys look like and just the overall look of the game. It's a really, really solid logo. And if you're so into logos, it would be something you'd want to purchase merchandise for, just to note that it's a fantastic logo. So coming up next, we have the Los Angeles Kings surprising us because they're going to wear a throwback jersey this year. They're throwing it back to the, I guess you could say, 92-93 season with the white jersey, which is also surprising because they're going to wear it at home. So we're going to get a couple games from the Kings in 2020 where they're going to be wearing their retro jerseys at home. I don't know if anyone was clamoring for this, but we're getting it, and that's fine. Who am I to complain? Don't let anyone fool you. This is not from 89 to 90 to mid 92. The font style was different. It only had a white outline on gray numbers. The captain's patch was gray with a black outline. The numbers on the back were gray with a black outline. But this one is actually from 92, 93 and beyond, because you have the black numbers with the white outline and then the gray outline. And just before we started recording, something interesting to note is the image that they've shown, or the image that Adidas released, is actually that of a replica jersey. If you look inside the collar trim, it says made in Indonesia, and game jerseys are made in Canada they're made at SP Apparel in Quebec. So just an interesting note about that. You get kind of the plasticky patches on there because they were probably quick and easy to produce. But pardon me, initial thoughts here. Beepo, we'll start with you. Initial thoughts when you heard the announcement?
Well, my initial thoughts were, wait, what? The Kings are having a new jersey? What? And then after that were another throwback, of course. Why am I not surprised? But it is growing on me a little bit, and I'll get to more of my reasoning behind that later as we talk about it. But
because
I still would like to see new stuff instead of just throwback all the time. But
that's out of
we're in a bit of a throwback circle jerk era right now. So what else are we gonna do?
I expect them to eventually go back to these jerseys.
Yeah, agreed. Steve, initial thoughts when you saw the announcement?
I think this is just kind of their way of testing the waters with it. But I mean, it's not bad because there's a lot of people that love this jersey and love this design. They love the, I guess you could call it the Chevy style logo with the Times New Roman Kings that has the racing stripes, I guess you could describe them as, to show speed stripes. There we go. But I mean, it's not a bad jersey. It's a classic design, and it fits well on that template. And I truly believe that when Adidas was coming along and they were designing the jerseys, I think they had in mind of going into
90s.
I think, and I've always been a fan of it, is that I say the NHL should just have every team do a throwback jersey similar to what the NBA does. And granted, I'm in that circle jerk of nostalgia, but it'd be neat to see teams just play in an old jersey once in a while. Like if you had like if you would have like the Penguins whenever they play the Capitals, and the Capitals wear their red vintage alternates. It's nice to see because it's like a throwback to the 90s type thing. But, I want to see teams take it a step further. I want to see them go back to different eras. Correct. Right. Well, that's something you see all the time. But we're getting into like the untouchable jerseys with that. But, I mean, with this design, it was a great design. It was just that
or like the Red Wings and the Canadians.
Success, but not the level of success that they had with the current jerseys. So, I mean, I guess it's just to appease the fans and to make more money, but it's not a bad idea.
I like throwback jerseys, and I like throwback jerseys once and no more than twice. Not a huge fan of when they, want to wear them 5 to 7 times a year, and then everything becomes about that jersey, and then eventually the next season they're like, oh, we're going back to it. It's like you're just going back to it because it's retro, and everyone thinks retro works regardless
the blue
nowadays.
Ones, which were essentially their home jerseys.
Just when this announcement, go ahead, Steve.
Times. What about Winnipeg?
Yeah, Edmonton was too much. That was a little ridiculous. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, Winnipeg, that's a good jersey. That's what throws me off on that one because I enjoy it. I enjoy the jersey, so I guess that skews my opinion. If I enjoy the jersey,
also the fact,
but see, this Kings jersey should have extreme sentimental value for me because I remember as a 5-year-old. Christmas. This was the first jersey I ever received, had Gretzky on the back of it. And so I should be all about this jersey, but it's just neat. I don't want to go. Yeah. But see, I remember the one where they used the number style from 89 to mid 92 when it was just 2-color numbers rather than 3-color numbers. And the one that they're using here has the 3-color numbers, and it's like, oh, that's the refreshed one. Anyways, we should dig into this using our positives and negatives. Let's start with positives first. I'll go first. And the positives is that it's kind of a nice throwback, and they're only going to wear it twice. And one of them is scheduled to be against the Canucks, and it would be really great if the Canucks brought their spaghetti plate jerseys with them, and we had a double throwback game. That would be really cool. So, and I appreciate the fact that they've with the numbers have and the logo, they've been quite accurate. The stripes and the color are another thing, and we'll get into that in the negative. So a couple positives here. I think it's a good direction. They're only going to wear it twice, and then let's put it back in the closet and not talk about it for a while. But Beepo, we'll get to your positives here.
Well, I've recently sort of changed my opinion on throwbacks in the sense that if a team bringing back a throwback, like with what the Penguins did, for example, if it helps them find their permanent look or their forever look, and they change it to their primaries and then never change it again, then I'll be willing to accept that. And granted, we can't know that for the Kings right now, but if they took this jersey template and stuck an updated logo on it, hopefully, and brought it back full time and decided to stick with this, then I'll be accepting of this, even though it's still kind of throwback circle jerk. But yeah, I also, as much as I don't like jerseys that don't have any color on it, and I would much prefer purple and gold, these are fairly sharp for, what they are, and with the lack of color and everything like that. I don't know if it's being biased at all by the fact that my youth hockey team that I played on for my entire childhood or these Kings copies. I think with the gray numbers on the back, though, but still, they are pretty sharp jerseys for the fact they don't have color, and I'm glad that they brought back the white one, because the white one, I think, is much better than the black, partially because the opponent is going to be wearing a lot more color than if they were wearing their white jersey. Actually, that's true. Their opponent is going to be wearing a dark jersey, so a lot more color than if they were wearing their white jersey versus a plain or primarily black jersey. It's nothing that I'm gonna bad home for. It's not spectacular, but it does what it's supposed to, and that's gonna be getting a lot of money for them.
Original one from the early '90s.
Steve, your positives here for the Kings throwback jersey.
Era traditional, similar to what they did with the Winnipeg Jets throwback, where that was chainmail style. I think it's great here. It's not like I said, it's not a bad jersey at all. It's it's crisp, and when you think of this, you think of Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille, and I just think of those players wearing this and just looking good in it. But, it really is, for the kindest way I can put it is, for them to decide on bringing back a vintage jersey for jersey's sake just to wear, this was a perfect one to bring back.
Yeah, not a bad call here. Not a bad call. And yeah, like you mentioned, as soon as you see the jersey, and if there's on the promo shot from Adidas, there's a 9 peeking out on the right sleeve. And you instantly think Gretzky with this jersey. So it's going to be nice to see it on the ice. But it is time to get to our negatives.
Can I bring up one more positive?
There's a few here. Please do.
At least this is a throwback jersey we haven't seen yet. And unlike some of the throwbacks that have been brought back in the past couple of years, or if you really want to consider the alternates that were retired for 1 year and then brought back a throwback, or like the Oilers throwback that they brought back that they wore as their primary until Adidas. At least we haven't seen this one yet. So even though it's a throwback, we haven't seen this one in the modern era yet.
Last time we saw this jersey was they wore it for Wayne Gretzky retirement night, opening night 02-03 season. And I think it was 02-03. I might be wrong on that date, but
whole game or warm-up?
For whatever season. No, the whole game they wore it.
Oh wow! But
it also had a little 99 patch on the front right chest because it was his jersey retirement night. So, but yeah, I think that was 2002, 2003, somewhere around there that they wore it. So, yeah, that was the last time it was out on the ice. But it'll be interesting to see it. So let's get to the negatives. I have two glaring ones. The first one is the collar. It's the Adidas collar. That wasn't going to be fixed. Hopefully, as the collar evolves and as looks evolve, it can be fixed, but this is just an eyesore on this one. And then I find the arm stripes are a little low on the arm. I believe they should be moved up a little higher, closer to the shoulder, to replicate the jersey from the era a little bit more. Beepo, do you have any negatives on this?
I mean, honestly, aside from, that it looks 90s and the logo looks mainly the logo looks 90s, but I mean, I can't really blame that because that's where it's coming from and it's a direct throwback. And if there's any possible, if the stripe should be higher to be truly accurate, I mean, not really. It is what it is. I mean, if I was talking about this as a jersey in general, again, I'd like to see color, but for what it is as a throwback, there's not much I can complain about, I don't think, aside from it just being a throwback. And honestly, I probably should have mentioned this in my positives too, but I actually like the way that they did the collar. It doesn't have a weird pentagon either not there, sticking out. And that's what I normally try to do in my concepts. I try to leave it as a solid collar, whether it contrasts with the jersey or not, or I just do the trim. So I think that they did the collar just fine, and it's as accurate as a representation as they could have gotten in this Adidas version. So I'm okay with that. But other than it just being another throwback and not having color, I don't really have any negatives. But it's just kind of It's not like it's not like the Sabres jersey that didn't have any negatives or had barely any negatives. It's just it is what it is. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's. I think overall it's just going to be nice to see it for 2 games. So that'll be
just the fact that
that'll be nice.
It's something
that's pretty much what you can say. It's ho hum. It's very ho hum. We'll go to Steve now for his negatives on the jersey. Steve, do you fit in with the collar and the arm stripes, or do you have anything different that is bothering you about this one?
The Kings treading or dipping their toes in the water to get the jersey to become full-time again and just bring back the jersey style itself, not necessarily the logo, even though I really do like the logo and I do love just the way that it looks, and I still think it could still work. But overall, this just it's I really can't say. It's not like I'm excited for it, but I'm not like, oh my god, are you serious? I'm just like, okay, good job. I'm pleasantly surprised, but I kind of expected this.
All right, let's rate this jersey out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7, and a 7 is a very appropriate ho-hum rating, and I think it fits the jersey pretty well. Beepo?
Yeah, I'd say 7 sounds about right.
I'd have to go for 7
it's a fine jersey, but it's something we've seen before, but at least it's something we haven't seen recently, and at least they're not wearing it, that much. Really and again, if they bring it back full-time and keep it for a long time, then I'll be more accepting of it, but we can't know that yet, of course.
And Steve, your rating out of 10. Okay, a nice average rating here for the Kings throwback, and it'll be nice to see on the ice come February 20th, I believe, is when we're going to see it first. There's going to be a couple games. I believe they're both in February, but it'll be nice to see it on the ice, and then we can move on. And we will move on to fake or authentic.
Fake or authentic?
fake or authentic, this is where I give 3 statements, but it's up to our co-host to determine whether or not those statements are fake or authentic, just like the jerseys you see around NHL arenas. Here we go. Reebok, fake or authentic, number 1. 2 years into the Adidas jersey era, it is safe to label it as a disappointment. Steve, fake or authentic?
2 years in, I still think they're refining it into 2.0, but I think overall it has a passing grade. Not passing really with flying colors like 100%, but I'd say a solid 85%.
Okay, Beepo, Adidas jersey era, disappointment, fake or authentic?
I'm definitely going to say fake too, because I mean, while like Steve said, Adidas hasn't been perfect, I think they've done fairly well. I mean, a lot of the jerseys, like in the switchover, they just brought over from Reebok. I mean, you can't blame them for that one. And the teams that switched, such as like Edmonton or Nashville or New Jersey, I really think the only real downgrade there is New Jersey. I mean, a lot of people don't like Nashville. I don't like their roads just because of the color balance, but I don't really have any problems with the jersey design, and same with Edmonton. I think Edmonton's road is much better than it was before. The home is, I like it. I don't know if I'd say it's better, but I'd like the fact that they have orange instead of blue, and that they're one of 2 teams in the league to have primarily orange now. So I think that works in their favor, but while like they have had some problems like the collars, especially, and some of the alternates that came out this year weren't the greatest, and the ones that were better were throwbacks. But other than that, I mean, I don't really think that there have been really that. I don't think Adidas has done that bad of a job. So I'll give it a success, even if it's not, like Steve said, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah,
I think they've done fine.
I gotta say, if anything, we're getting to the point to where you
good
need
stuff
to
there.
Mainly,
I would say it's a failure just because we're into this retro for retro's sake. Don't know if that's to be placed on Adidas or if that's just the way of the world.
It's not like the NHL is the only league doing this, and it's not like this one that's saying with Reebok either.
No, not at all.
Like people my age with some rose tinted glasses here, so it's really just a byproduct of what people want today, and I think that I can understand where you're coming from with saying that it's a failure, but I think if Adidas were to come in and they were to try to change everything and change more than what they already did with the collar and how everything is, I really think it would have been a true failure. But I think they were trying to balance a line of what Nike did when they first took over the NFL and kind of just said, okay, we're going to keep primarily all the designs. If a team wants to rebrand, we'll rebrand. But a lot of teams kept traditional. They just used the new cut, new material. And personally, I think the Adidas jersey works much better for doing throwbacks than the Reebok Edge era did.
Interesting, because I end up on the opposite end of that. But let's go to our fake or authentic number 2. And I think this one more, from what I understand, your answer is going to all depend on which country you live in here. Don't get hung up on the words. You just take it generally, and you'll understand where this is
Ryan, you're
from.
asking the wrong person.
Fake or authentic?
I take everything over literally, and I look way into the wording. So you're asking the wrong person on that.
Beepo,
walk around. Eventually, what's going to happen?
Let this one. Don't think too hard. Okay, just let this one be. Here we go.
2 weeks now.
Fake or authentic?
I
I remove my shoes when I enter my house.
It really, though, depends on Steve. Where I've been. If I've been, like, walking out on a hiking trail, on a dirt trail or something, I'll remove them just out of respect not to bring dirt in. And that's with any house. But normally, I'm more comfortable having something on my feet besides socks because there's nothing that I hate more than, say, if someone were happen to spill something or a dog were to go to the bathroom somewhere on the carpet and you can't see it and then you step on it, then you get a wet sock. Yeah, I can't stand that. So I'm going to... What would be fake or authentic? Would fake be no, I leave them on? For the most part, I leave my shoes on. Okay. Then yes, I would account myself as being fake.
Wow. Do you leave your shoes on for the most part? So you're on the fake side of this one here. Interesting. So for anyone who doesn't know, Steve and Beepo are Americans and I'm Canadian. So it just pretty much Canada-wide, if you go into someone's house, you're removing your shoes. It's pretty much disrespectful to walk through someone's house with your shoes on. So let's see where Beepo ends up on this. Beepo, fake or authentic? I remove my shoes when I enter my house.
I think I am. I don't really know because this is an odd situation and I'm not just sitting on the fence. So with my dorm room, of course, I haven't worn my shoes inside my dorm room a lot unless they're my Crocs because I got a couple of two pairs of those a couple weeks ago. They're very comfortable. But with my actual house, I don't remove my shoes as soon as I walk in. I take them off in my bedroom upstairs because that's where I keep all of my shoes because my brother had a tendency to always wear my shoes, like not out somewhere, but like he'd just throw on a random pair if he had to do something real quick. And I wasn't very fond of that. So I like my own stuff separate, but I usually wouldn't wear them like around the house all day. I would take them off and put them in my bedroom and then, come back. And if I'm walking around my house, I'd have my shoes off. So and if I'm like you said, if I'm going into somebody else's house, I usually take them off unless like I forget or something like that, or if I'm going to be there for
Ryan,
like 2
also
minutes.
Remember, you live in a
am I authentic or fake on that one?
Interesting.
Cold foresty area.
I guess you'd be a little authentic. Essentially, the idea is shoes off in your house.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I don't think Americans, like you said, are definitely as strict to that as Canadians apparently are, based on what you said. But I usually don't wear my shoes around the house again unless they're like slippers or Crocs or something like that.
I know, but no. But I think it has to do with one. I've found that
no, Steve, that's not true at all.
Towards others, and
you're in Pennsylvania. Our climates are extremely, and our lifestyles are extremely similar.
Off and then put them back on.
So we're not marching around all day in hiking boots because we got to walk through the forest to get to work or something.
The first thing I would ask you is, do you want me to leave my shoes on, or would you like me to take them off? So I truly think it has to deal with, one, how long has the carpet been in the house? 2, if they have hardwood, what does the hardwood look like? And 3, really, I guess really it has to deal with how you feel. Because, like, when I'm at my family's, I have to take the shoes off, but I don't mind because my dog's a puppy and he doesn't always like to go outside. He likes to hide, and even though that we clean up his mess, you still don't want a wet sock, and I don't want to loan a pair of socks to a guest. So
Very interesting. Very interesting. Because it's not even a question. It's just wherever I go, unconditionally. You're in someone's house. You don't even leave the front entrance. You get in. Everyone's got a mat down, or whatever, an entrance rug, and that's where the shoes off, and everyone leaves their shoes there at the front door or in the closet.
Go to Beepo first.
That's just the way it is. But that's always an interesting question to me, and I love to bring that up and go over it. So that was fun. Fake or authentic number 3. When the CCM jersey deal expires with the AHL after the 2021 season, the league will switch to Adidas.
I'm ready.
Fake or authentic, Steve?
I was going to say, I'd have to go to authentic simply because it seems
Steve needs to think about it. Okay, Beepo, when the CCM jersey deal expires with the AHL after 2021, they will switch to Adidas. What do you think? Fake or authentic?
As for what they're going to get,
go to Steve first. I need to think about this.
Are they going to get the same quality material as the NHL?
Okay, go ahead, Steve. I was going to give an actual answer, but go
ahead. They might get what teams like Nebraska or Quinnipiac are currently wearing, which is slightly heavier material, but with the new Adi Zero cut. So I want to say authentic on this, but I don't think they'll be getting everything that an NHL jersey is.
All right, Beepo, fake or authentic? Where do you sit on this?
Well, I think it mainly depends on if Adidas is interested in outfitting the AHL, but assuming that both CCM and Adidas are, I would probably say authentic because, again, like Steve said, that AHL likes to copy the NHL a lot, and it would kind of make sense to have, each player wearing the same uniform, what's it called? System, I guess. And I would assume that Adidas could outbid CCM any day for that deal, if they needed to, because Adidas is a much bigger company than CCM. So, assuming that they're both interested, I would not be surprised at all to see Adidas jump into the mix for the AHL.
All right, good stuff there. That was fake or authentic, and according to the schedule, the next thing we're going to move on to is Throwback Throwdown. This week on Throwback Throwdown, we have our returning champion, the 1983-84 Hartford Whalers green jersey, taking on a new challenger this week, the 1975 California Seals teal jersey. Interesting matchup. I tried to create something unique here. This is the last-ditch effort to try and take down this Whalers jersey before it moves into our Hall of Fame, and we have a completely new matchup next week. But first, we have to see how this matchup goes. So if you want to take a look at these jerseys, head on over to our website, jerseynerdspodcast.com. Take a look at them so you know what we're talking about here. The Hartford Whalers jersey you're familiar with, green jersey, white bottom with blue. The stripes alternate white, blue, white. And then the arms have the white cuffs with a blue stripe and then a white stripe. Classic Whalers logo on the crest. And then Pucky the Whale on the shoulders. Fantastic touch there. As far as the California Seals are concerned, this is a teal jersey, and it has a broad white stripe on the waist, outlined in two gold stripes. That repeats on the cuff of the jersey, and then a very unique striping situation here as it kind of goes vertical over the shoulders, not unlike a backpack. And the collar is also a three-color collar here with the Seals word mark going across the front. So let's find out who's our winner and why. Steve, we're going to you first.
This jersey just has a lot more elements to it. It doesn't. It's one of those hockey
and why you're choosing them over the other.
It doesn't really feel like a traditional hockey jersey, but it works perfectly because you have the the stripes aren't actually on the sleeve. Like the cuff sleeve striping is there, but you have the sleeves are right on the jersey instead of on the sleeves themselves. So that's an interesting aspect I like of it. Also, the fact that the numbers are below the sleeves, something for that timeline is just insane to see. But also the fact that they had teal pants to go to match along with this, even though the striping didn't match at all on the pants. This was an overall sweet set to look at. Not only because of the colors, but it's so 70s. Just the seal script, the teal, it's a really bluish teal with the bright yellow and the white. It just works all in that area super well. So I'd have to go with the Golden Seals.
All right, Beepo, Whalers or Seals, who's winning and why?
This is a bit of a tough one because it's kind of like picking classic versus innovation. Because, I mean, we've talked about the Whalers one before. It's a classic. And the striping is fine. The logo is great. The pucky is great. But the Seals one is just completely out of the park because it's teal for one, which is great. It's very vibrant, which honestly, I think it's a little bit too vibrant for me, even though I like color. But it fit perfectly for the 70s. The striping is very unique in the way that it's more like shoulder striping in a certain sense than it is arm striping. But it is also still arm striping. I mean, you guys see the jersey. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it's just, it's really a tough choice. And ask me in 5 minutes, I might change my mind. But I think just how much innovation, I don't want to say how much innovation, but I think it's honestly, I think mainly the colors. They're just so vibrant for me that they fit perfectly in the 70s, but comparing it just doesn't work as well as the Whalers one does for me. And as much as I want to see that shoulder striping style come back today, I want to see a return of that. I can't help but pick the Whalers again, honestly. Like, I love this Seals jersey for what it is, but I can't. I don't get the same dopamine rush when looking at it, if that makes sense, My eyes aren't as pleased. As much as I like what it's doing, my eyes aren't as pleased.
Beepo goes with the Whalers. When we put this out to a vote about a month ago, because we haven't been very good about recording episodes on time or with the features, but when we put this to a vote to the readers just over a month ago, today. 100%.
I mean,
all voted the same way and voted for the Hartford Whalers.
Okay.
So
I know I
2 votes
the
currently
Whalers,
for the Whalers.
100% for them.
1 for the Seals.
Like, really?
They've been dominating. Like, every time we put them out to vote.
I mean, again, I know I picked the Whalers, but
apparently not.
You got to give the Seals some credit.
That's true. Their lineage goes to the Dallas Stars. So I guess I got to step in here now. And if I give it to the Seals, we have a tie. And in that instance, it's always gone to what the readers vote. But for this one, I am going to give it to the Whalers. And that will move them into the Hall of Fame. And I think what this comes down to is I really like the colors on both jerseys. Like Beepo mentioned, you really put it well when you said classic versus innovation here. And that's what it is. Whalers are classic. Seals are innovation. It's Pucky the Whale on the shoulders versus what I'll call the backpack striping on the Seals jersey. And if I had to choose between the two of them, I'd much rather have the Whalers jersey in my collection, and that's why I'm giving my vote to the Hartford Whalers, and thus they move into our Hall of Fame. So we'll be sure to, I guess we'll get a banner or do something like that and put that up on the website, just to note that the Whalers went on a 5-0 run to move into the Hall of Fame of Throwback Throwdown. So next week we will have 2 brand new jerseys for the Throwback Throwdown vote. We'll see if either one of them can move into the Hall of Fame. If you have any ideas at all, be sure to email us, jerseynerdspodcast@gmail.com, or let us know on Twitter, jerseynerdspod on Twitter.
Jeez, they get 5 wins. They get 5 wins and they're getting a banner. That's worse than the Predators.
It's like the NFL. You get 5 wins, you get a banner.
Do they actually do that?
If you're a wild card team, and if you're a wild card team, right?
5 wins.
5 wins, 4 wins. Right? I don't watch.
Well, they don't. Yeah. Do they have banners?
That's essentially what's going on here, right?
And I guess they just hang it inside the stadium rather than from the rafters because they're outdoor stadiums. Okay, that makes sense.
All right, so we'll have to figure out where we're hanging this digital Whalers Throwback Throwdown banner. And we'll note like 5-0 on the book. I think what makes like the logo, the Whalers logo, is probably one of the best all time, I think. And I think it combines simplicity with the layers that we talked about, or that I talked about with the All-Star logo earlier. And then the layer is you get the H in the negative space, right? It's an extremely simple logo, and then boom, the H hits you in the negative space. So I think the logo is so popular that it really brings up the jersey, because overall, I mean, if you really wanted to nitpick, the jersey is very much like a Blackhawks red jersey. Very similar layout except for the cuffs. So, and I believe that Blackhawks red jersey to probably be the greatest jersey all time in the NHL, but that's a conversation for another day. So again, I think the logo really brings up the Whalers jersey, but either way, it's won 5 straight matchups. It's going into the Hall of Fame, and we'll have 2 new Throwback Throwdown contenders next week. But in the meantime, that is all we have for you for episode 90 of the Jersey Nerds podcast. Be sure to contact us anytime on Twitter at Jersey Nerds Pod, or email jerseynerdspodcast@gmail.com. If you got something to say, let us know, and we can always throw it on the podcast if it's interesting or noteworthy. And you can also visit us on our website, jerseynerdspodcast.com. That's where you're going to find all the show notes for all the episodes, plus all the votes for Throwback Throwdown. And if you're following us on Twitter, you'll get all the notifications and hints when those go up. But we also want you to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen. That way you do get notifications when the actual episodes are posted. Sometimes they go up a little bit before the blog posts go up. And we'd always appreciate if you could leave us a quality rating there. So I'd like to thank Steve and Beepo, but most of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of the Jersey Nerds for listening. Goodbye, everybody.